Yet another example of it's not racist when we do it. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, bringing you the obvious. And today, on the NewYorkTimes.com, Harvard admissions process does not discriminate against Asian Americans, judge rules. So as you can see, Asians were suing Harvard as well as, well, I'm sure this is a problem with higher education, so they're suing diversity quotas discriminate against Asians because Asians are just too smart and too high performing. So they discriminate. Asian Americans have to get higher scores, otherwise they can't get in, and then there's a quota, a cap, for how many can get in. It's absolutely discriminatory and it's absolutely racist. In fact, because of these affirmative action programs, so many unqualified individuals are being let into higher education. It's become a complete joke. Wasn't there that one story? Yeah, so here's a story from 2017. Harvard student submits rap album as his senior thesis. Now, not only is this the most degenerate and stupid thing that I've ever seen, I do believe that they accepted it. They earned an A-. I never thought I would be accepted by Harvard, said Shaw, a 20-year-old from Stone Mountain, Georgia, a suburb of Atlanta. I didn't think they would respect rap as an art form enough for me to do it. So as you can see, this is an absolute joke. Harvard's an absolute joke. And you can get in as long, even if you don't have good scores, even if you aren't intelligent, even if you aren't as hardworking as the Asian Americans, as long as you are of a certain skin color, just not Asian, you can get into Harvard with a rap album. Now, isn't that progressive? So this article's by Nimona Hartekolis. A federal judge on Tuesday rejected claims that Harvard had intentionally discriminated against Asian American applicants, which we all know is total bullshit. This has been revealed. I'm gonna prove it right now, and I'm on a roll today. So there was an Indian man, and he was trying to get into college. His name was Vijay Joko Chakal Ignam, and he could not get in. His scores weren't high enough, so he did an experiment to test affirmative action. He painted his skin a little bit darker, I believe. He pretended to be black. And guess what? He got accepted after pretending to be black. His score didn't change, only his looks, only what his perceived race was. So you want to tell me that there's no discrimination? You're wrong. This is by CNN. The left-wing news rag. If you're a left-winger and you doubt what I say, whoa, I thought CNN doesn't lie. I thought CNN wasn't fake news. You can find the story everywhere. So, in a closely watched case that is presented, one of the biggest legal challenges to affirmative action in years. Affirmative action should be illegal, it's racist, it's discriminatory, and it's not based on merit. The best people should get in. That's how it should be, but you know how it is. Nowadays, for higher education, if you're a minority or if you're rich, you can just pay off the right people. You'll get in. All thanks to affirmative action. Great. Wonderful. The challenge came from a group hoping to overturn a long-standing Supreme Court precedent that allows race to be considered as one factor among many in the admissions process. Well, doesn't that sound racist to you? It sounds racist to me, but prohibits universities from using racial quotas, which they do. The group argued that the Harvard's practices had benefited Black and Hispanic students at the expense of other minority groups in a strategic reversal of past affirmative action lawsuits in which the plaintiffs denounced a perceived unfairness to white students. There also is an unfairness to white students. All thanks to affirmative action, people who actually deserve to go to school aren't getting in. The judge, Allison Burroughs, a federal district court for the District of Massachusetts, rejected the argument that Harvard... Of course it was a fucking woman. Of course. Of course! Why are women so quick to betray people, to betray sense and reason? You know, I notice this pattern over and over again. And people are going to be like, but Mr. Obvious, why are you being mean to women? That's not right. Women are just as rational as men. Are they? I'm asking you. I'm asking the women out there. Do you think that women are as rational as men? Why is it that every time we talk about regressive leftism, about insanity, it's, well, I don't know, always seems to be women behind the wheel. I don't know. I'm sure that it's nuanced and complicated, but let's keep reading. So she rejected the argument that Harvard was using affirmative action as a weapon against some races and a boon to others. If that was the case, then Asians wouldn't have such a hard time getting in, and pretending to be black would not get you accepted. But here we are, and said that the university met the strict constitutional standard for considering race in its admissions process. Yeah, that's some bullshit. In her decisions, Judge Burroughs defended the benefits of diversity. Oh, goddamn. This is why God invented the pimp hand. It was to keep these women in line. And said that while the time might come when it would be possible to look beyond race in college admissions, that time is not here yet. Isn't it sad that in 2019, we still cannot look beyond skin color? Brothers, sisters, I have a dream that people won't be judged based on the color of their skin, that they will be judged based on the content of their character and their intellect. Oh Lord, such a time is not now. Such a time is not now. We have to be racist, really. It really, like, the hypocrisy, the idiocy, the irony never fails me. Never fails to get me, I swear to God. This is a blight. The rich diversity at Harvard and other colleges and universities and the benefits that flow from diversity. There are no benefits from diversity, and I can prove it with science. She added, will foster the tolerance, acceptance, and understanding that will ultimately make race-conscious admissions obsolete. I ought to smack you silly. That's doublethink. Diversity will eventually eliminate race consciousness. Two completely opposing ideas. The way to be non-racially conscious, which is impossible. Okay, it is literally born into us. It is ingrained in our programming. Babies who have been tested for this will always pick toys that look similar to them. It is a self-defense mechanism. If you live in a population full of one group of people, and there is one person who enters that population who looks different, they are an outsider. You do not know who they are. You do not know if they are safe. They are possibly a threat. This is basic evolutionary biology and psychology. The case drew widespread scrutiny from dozens of other top-ranked schools that use Harvard's race-conscious admission policies as a model. See, it's just a joke. Higher education is a freaking joke. A complete disgusting joke. The plaintiff, Student for Fair Admissions, a nonprofit representing a group of Asian American students rejected by Harvard, had accused the college of violating federal civil rights law by holding Asian Americans who, as a group, get better test scores and grades than other races to a higher standard. And it's racist. There's really no goddamn other way to put it. So the students had 4 interrelated claims. Harvard intentionally discriminated against Asian Americans, that it used race as a predominant factor in admissions, that it racially balanced its classes, and that it considers applicants' race without first exhausting race-neutral alternatives to create diversity. Judge Burroughs cleared the university of all 4 claims, saying that while Harvard's admissions process was not perfect, the court would not tear down a very fine admissions program that passes constitutional muster. What a bad person, for lack of a better B word. So here in the comment section, we're going to take a quick look. I'm going to show you just a little bit. So here LT says, I'm just going to read a part of what he wrote because it's rage-inducing. Now, after so many years of affirmative action, we still have many schools and jobs predominantly occupied by whites, and white people are really upset at the prospect that a white person, and now Asians, may miss out on something that they feel entitled to based on their ethnicity. What? Meanwhile, racial discrimination continues in spite of affirmative action. So here goes the deluded mind of a disgusting leftist. They're saying that whites have benefited from affirmative action for generations, which is bullshit. It's not called affirmative action if it's not for minorities. Whites are the majority. Of course they would get the most jobs. Of course, statistically speaking, they would have the most jobs. You are stupid. You are so stupid. You don't understand proportions or populations. If 13% of the population is black, then logically, 13% of actors should be black. That's proportional to the population. Now, there are other statistics that are not proportional that you can look at, but it is always weird. You see, a non-proportional representation is normal. An unproportional amount of a certain group in anything is not normal. So here we have someone sane. E says, I'm half Asian and half white, and I did grad school at Yale, which exposed me to a highly diverse student body. While I loved befriending students from all over the world at Yale, I also spent about 3 years of high school in Fremont, CA, which is many high-achieving Asian students that were both self-motivated and pressured by parents to do well in school, unlike me at the time. Despite the pressure, most of my Asian peers had big dreams to pursue diverse professions, such as writers, doctors, and artists, and worked incredibly hard, and I felt they deserved to get into great schools. Many of them were aware of discrimination against them in university admissions, and felt like they had to work even harder because of that. I find the diversity quota against Asian Americans absolutely ridiculous and astoundingly racist. You are telling young people that your hard work means less compared to another student based on race, and I find it personally heartbreaking gesture to both the students and the parents that believe in the power of a good education. And you know what? That pretty much says it. That pretty much says it all. Chris has a good comment here. The ruling is that Harvard does not illegally discriminate, not that it does not discriminate. But you know what, my friends? That's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? I think it's bullshit. You be sure to let me know. Do you know anyone who's faced these problems? I would love to hear about it. As always, this channel is completely unmonetized. No ads, no revenue. I get nothing. So if you want to support the content that I make and the channel, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar for as low as $1. Doing so will get you access to Fight Club, a private Discord server. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.